Hey y'all, it's Cindy Cobb with Around the Town in the South, and I am sitting here with Mayor Gene McGee, the mayor of Ridgeland, Mississippi, and I want to thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure.
So excited. I was telling him where I live. Some people think I live in Ridgeland, some people think I live in Madison. Regardless, I live in Madison County. And I have a story to tell you, and I guess it was Friday before last. I was driving to the Trace, I was driving to Natchez, and there was two bicyclists in front of me, and they were riding the white line. And there was two cars that were also in front of me. We were going about 20 at the most, probably. The car in the number one car went to pass the bicyclists, and everything was fine. Well, the second car, when they went to pass, the cyclist moved over into the middle of the lane, and he almost got hit, and it literally scared me to death. I just thought I was seeing someone just get killed, literally. And I went on Facebook and I said something to the effect of, the cyclists have no business on the Trace. If you're a bicyclist, you shouldn't be on there. I just almost witnessed someone get killed. I would be all for a tax increase, and I would be for this, for them to make them a bicycle line on each side of the road. Well, needless to say, I was off Facebook for 4 hours. I was at the balloon glow down there, and we were having a lot of fun. And I got back on, and there was 178 comments from bicyclists and other people educating me basically on what the Trace is and basically why we have the Trace and who uses the Trace, who has the right of way. And now, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, well, I mean, I had no idea some of these things. And I wrote on there, two guys got into an argument, and on the bottom, before I went to bed, I said, I will redeem myself. I will be posting something else because I have learned a lot. And the next morning I woke up and the post was gone. Facebook had erased it, which I'm glad because I don't like dissension. But my first thought was to contact Mayor Gene McGee because we're Facebook friends and I watch him. He is an avid cyclist. Who else better would know the rules, regulations, recreation, and why we even have the Trace than Mayor Gene? So I contacted him and I asked him, would he get on with me and tell us the history of the Trace, what it's for, and I know it's economic development, it's got to be, but other things too. So Gene, would you tell us a lot about the Trace and how this all Trace came about, and educate me as a motorist on what I'm supposed to do on the Trace?
Okay, well, first of all, the Trace is a national park, obviously. It was built as a linear park so that people could get out and enjoy the beauty of it, and it's not meant necessarily to be a commuter road, which obviously sometimes it is used for. And it is actually a bikeway. It is a place that is designated for people to cycle. And of course, I cycle on it almost every day, which I enjoy very much. A lot of people also don't realize that in Mississippi and other places too, we have something called the 3-foot rule, which means that you are supposed to be a minimum of 3 feet from a cyclist when you pass them. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to be 3 feet, that's just a minimum.
Right.
So you should probably be more than that. And also on the Trace, they have all made a rule that says that a cyclist can actually take the whole lane. So when you do pass a cyclist, just like in a car, you would move over to the other lane and pass safely like you would if you're passing a car. Most people are very courteous when they pass a bicycle, and which is good. Sometimes you'll find those that aren't used to it or don't know the rules. But I think it's a two-way street. The cyclists have to be careful that you wear bright colors, that you do obeying the rules, just as well as the automobiles need to obey the rules. So it's a two-way street.
And they were. I mean, they really were. They had their gear on, and they were riding that white line. And, you know, it was kind of concerning because he didn't turn, but he knew the rules, and the motorist obviously didn't, and I didn't. Right. Of course, when I passed, I did go on to the second line because I thought, if he comes on over, I don't want to be the one to hit him. So as far as the park itself, and I know that where I was, it was between Ridgeland and Clinton when this happened. So where would someone go to find out exactly the rules when you're riding on the Trace? Because I know I've seen there's not supposed to be big trucks on there, and I've seen moving trucks like a U-Haul not knowing. So where would someone go to find these rules?
Well, the bicycle shops in Ridgeland have copies of those rules, and also you could go online to the Natchez Trace webpage. They talk about their rules. There are brochures that they have put out. The Ridgeland Tourism has some of those brochures. So all along the trace there are agencies that have those rules and will let people know. They can obviously call Tupelo, which is the national headquarters, and they can give them all those facts. But it's, and it's not hard to find those. It's just a matter of making the effort to do so.
Well, I know Tim Pruitt owns one of the bicycle shops around here, and he was the one that was texting me because I did not know the rules. And like I said, I was off the grid for 4 hours, and I get back on, there's this big discussion. I absolutely love learning everything I can learn, especially about safety on our roads, and me not knowing that the bicyclists, this is a recreational path or road for bicyclists. And so I immediately told Tim I will be rectifying my thought process number one, and I'm glad I did this because I would not have known that they did. And I'm not the only one, because in that thread it was also people like me not knowing, saying yes, they need another lane, they should not be on the roads, everything that I thought. And so now I will be definitely be an advocate for safety for the Trace on what to do. I will also be writing in here where you can go to find these rules and regulations for traveling the Trace, because it's a beautiful, beautiful ride. Some Sunday afternoons I would get in my brother's Bronco, it's a family Bronco, and I would ride and go slow, and it's beautiful. And then I will be honest, I have used it to commute to Ridgeland all the way to 49. My brother lives on the North 40 over there, and it's just a quick, beautiful ride. But I can tell you one thing, I will definitely be adhering to the cyclists, and I absolutely will. And I will be promoting safety, because that's first and foremost, but also education of knowing these things. And I'm just excited that you sat with me and explained this to me.
Well, it's important. I ride the Trace, as I said, almost every day. And most of the motorists are very courteous. They're used to us. Mm-hmm. We work together very well. It's not a problem.
Right.
Occasionally, those who don't know the facts of the rules, there may be some questions, but that's okay. We all live and learn. But I do want to emphasize that if you're a cyclist, you still need to be very careful. Obey the rules of cycling just as you would obey the rules of driving an automobile. It's very important. Because it doesn't take but one mistake, and whether you're driving a car or whether you're driving a motorcycle or a bicycle, one mistake can cost a life, and we don't want that. That
is so true. I had a friend, you may know Karen Seago.
Oh yes, Karen's a very good friend of mine. She rides all the time.
She's a good friend of mine, and I don't know how many years ago, several years ago, Karen had a bike accident, and it broke several bones in her body, and it took her several months to recover. And when not knowing the passion, we all have passion for what we love. Karen says, I'm going to get back on Sally. I said, Karen, please don't get back on Sally. I almost lost you. I've known you since I was in the 5th grade. Please don't get back on Sally. And she said, but it's my passion. And I remember, and it brings tears to my eyes, I remember her explaining the first time she got on that bike and the fear that she overcame, because that is her passion, and she loves it.
I was with her with that group the day she crashed.
Were you really?
I'm very familiar with that, yes.
Well, honey, I heard about it. I went straight to St. D.
That was a terrible thing for sure.
It was.
And that was, really and truly, it was a mistake that someone made riding a bicycle, so that had nothing to do with cars.
Yeah.
So, you could make those mistakes. But I want to point out, there were several people killed a few weeks ago on motorcycles because of carelessness. A gentleman killed on a motorcycle on the Trace because of carelessness. So it can happen in anything, and again, you just got to be careful no matter what you're on driving.
I knew the motorcycle guy, and that's the deal. If this vlog does nothing else, share this with your friends. Educate your friends on the Trace if they're traveling the Trace, so that they will know you are to pass these cyclists in the other lane like you do a car. That's my whole point in doing this, is safety. And if we can save just one life or anybody from crashing, that's why I know you have sat with me, and I really appreciate it very much.
No problem. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
So I just want y'all to know that I'm going to be sitting down with Mayor McGee in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that's going on in Ridgeland. I love Ridgeland. I love everything, but especially when people are so passionate about their city and bringing things to the city that people will stay here and they will love. I love to promote that. So I want to thank our sponsors today for this vlog. I want to thank Goodson Crye-Leike Realtors, located in Madison, Mississippi. Her link is on the description. Give her a call if you're looking for a house. She is a great realtor. She'll work hard for you. And also, the Perfect Pooch, where I take my little sweet pooch, Lacey. Lisa and that gang over there in Ridgeland off of 51. No, not 51, off of Old Canton Rd. That's right. I get my, listen, just give me a, like, where's Kroger? What are those landmarks? Give me a landmark. Lisa and the gang over there at the Perfect Pooch are wonderful. So thank you for sponsoring our vlogs, and we will see you around the town.